And it was Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and you guys have been asking for this, more education about cephalometric numbers. I love me a ceph. So I know it's hard for a lot of you to get it, but if you're going to take harder cases, especially in growing kids or in adults with vertical issues, AP issues, you're going to need a ceph. So got to find a way to get it. Once you get it, we can help you understand the numbers. It's not that hard. But anyways, today I'm just focusing on one number. And if you really want like a full ceph course, my friend, my brother from another mother, Dr. Rishi Popat, I've got his courses up on my website, Straightsmile Solutions. We collab. We're not the same company, but we collab. But I like to say we're on the same team because we both have the same goal, same treatment philosophy. We ultimately do similar things in the orthodontic education space, but different. So that's why we send doctors to one another, because I trust what he's going to teach you is right. But anyways, that was a little plug for Dr. Popat's classes. And he also does on-site classes because he does have an orthopedo office that's really easy to reach in Phoenix, Arizona. So you should definitely check it out. But anyways, I'm just going to pick this point. This is from the Steiner Analysis, SN. That's a point on the cranium. It's a line on the cranial base, sella and nasion. And so SNGOGN, which is basically the mandibular plane angle, that tells us is it the angle of the lower jaw relative to the cranial base. How is the growth going? Is it going flat, like horizontal, or is it going vertical? So flat, steep. So I want you guys to just look at these pictures and just kind of ingrain it in your head, because the more cephs you look at, you're not even going to need to get the numbers, because unless you're trying to get set up for insurance, you're trying to explain to the patient a little bit more, but you're going to know this is flat, this is flat, this is steep, this is steep. Okay, so you can see the value of this point. The normal is 30, okay? But here, flat is a low number, 22, 24, okay? This is kind of like, if you want to think of like a way to remember it, I like to think of, if you ever watched the cartoon from like a decade ago or multiple decades ago from the 90s, Beavis and Butthead. So Beavis is like the ultimate low angle. That's what we used to say or flat. We used to say that in residency. We call it a Beavis case. He looks like Beavis. So when you see somebody across the room or at an amusement park that has a flat, low angle face, often it comes with large masseter muscles, kind of a square looking jaw, that typical American, football player kind of look. So that is your flat. This can also come as class 2, but it doesn't usually come as class 3. So that's the look. We don't really want that because it's just healthier for the patient to have the correct bite, but it's not that bad, okay? It's usually genetic. Now steep, this is usually indicative of often a class 3 patient or a downward and backwards growth open bite patient. As you can see like here, usually it's also indicative of an airway issue. So all of these are kind of hanging out in the same room. So usually it's one or the other. This is a red flag to me, especially if you're getting the open bite and the downwards and backwards growth, because that usually has something to do with an airway issue. So if you're starting to see steep in a kid, 5-alarm fire. You need to figure out, set them to EMT. You can usually see tonsils and adenoids in the x-rays in a growing kid, or at least adenoids pretty well. Do the tonsil analysis with the Ferris form, get them over to ENT, get them over to OMT, start doing what you can do to improve the airway. If it includes expansion, they usually need it. So, let's take a look at that. But yeah, this is how it works. So study it, get used to it, and hopefully this will help you. Thanks.